be some confusion. I'm Dana.
Oh, nice to meet you. Where did you find Muvie?
That's when I realized Muvie was the elephant's name. I was about to narrate my story to him, but my stomach rumbled loudly and I realized I hadn't eaten for almost a day. I'm sorry, but I'm really hungry. Can I have those bananas? Without waiting for his reply, I snatched the bananas and went to town on them. When I was finally full, I plopped down on the floor and burst into tears. Hi, I'm Dana from Zimbabwe, and I'll just get right to the point. If you follow these animated story channels on YouTube, you must have heard a zillion rags to riches stories, right? Well, mine is different. My story is a crazy riches to rags story, and it's a doozy. I'll be straight with you. My childhood was perfect. My millionaire parents loved me to the moon and back. And I'm not even kidding. They tried to plan a party for me on the moon when I was 5, but I was too scared to go, so we had a princess party at my real palace instead. Anywho, I grew up in a huge mansion in Harare. Dad was a top politician, while Mom's job was spending his money. Massive garden, endless shopping, fundraisers, and parties, you know the works. While I loved both my parents, it was my dad who I adored the most. He treated everyone around him with kindness and respect, and I wanted to be just like him. So unlike your typical rich kids, I wasn't a brat. In fact, I loved sharing my stuff with others and often got into trouble for standing up to bullies. This one time when I was 8, Dad threw a party and invited the bigwigs of the city. When the party was in full swing, I saw the mayor's daughter shouting at a waiter, "Are you stupid or are you deaf? I asked for orange juice!" Then she did the unthinkable. She splashed her drink on the waiter's face. The poor guy looked like he would burst into tears. Without even thinking, I accidentally bumped into a tray of appetizers right next to her, and the whole tray fell right on her head. Oh, she was a sight, with sauces streaming down her mean face and dumplings and nachos stuck in her hair. Everyone burst into laughter. Well, everyone except Dad. When the party ended, he called me to his study.
Dana, I saw what you did at the party.
You did?
Yes, and it was awesome! Bad deeds should be punished.
See? The coolest, kindest dad. So, like I was saying, life was perfect. But everything changed on the day of my 16th birthday. Early that morning, Dad woke me up.
Wake up, birthday girl! I have a surprise!
Next thing I know, I was bundled into his car for a dad-daughter day out. I was thrilled. Soon, we left the city behind and drove to the hills. We were both enjoying the scenic ride, singing at the top of our voices. I got the eye of the tiger, a fighter, dancing through the fire, and you're gonna hear me roar. Excitedly, I did my best roar, which turned into the biggest mistake of my life. You see, as Dad looked at me to laugh, he didn't see the deer that ran in front of the car. "Daddy, look out!" But it was too late. Dad lost control of the car. Within seconds, we veered off course and hit a boulder with so much force that my door flew open, and I was thrown off the frickin' cliff into a stream. Can you imagine? That stupid car cost $10 million, and this is how safe it turns out to be? Anyway, as I literally flew down the cliff, I remember thinking, this is it. This is the end. I'm gonna die before having a single boyfriend. And the last thing I remember is hearing a splash of water, and then everything went black. I have no idea how long I was out, but when I woke up, I found myself lying on the banks of a stream inside a dense forest. Thank God the cliff wasn't too high. I was basically okay. Just some scratches, even though I looked like an utter mess. Ouch! Where am I? Dad! Dad! I looked around, hoping to find Dad, but he was nowhere. Suddenly, I felt really scared. What if Dad didn't make it? No, Dad is basically superhuman. He will make it. He has to. Pushing my bad ideas out of my mind, I jumped up. I had to look for Dad. I walked for hours, but it seemed like I was going in circles. Soon it was night, so I crouched under a huge rock to keep myself warm and hopefully safe from any wild animals. And then I cried myself to sleep. I couldn't believe the best day of my life had turned into such a disaster. A few hours later, I shot up, my heart pounding. Something had touched my feet. Nothing had prepared me for what I saw. A pack of hyenas! Panic rose in my chest, but I didn't want to scream in case they decided to jump on me. So I looked around for something to protect myself, but all I could find was a broken tree branch. Shoo! Shoo, you ugly animals! The stupid beast started cackling as if it laughed at me. Oh, great. Even the wild animals thought I was a joke. Then something amazing happened. Just as I was bracing myself for the worst, something flung one of the hyenas aside and chased the others away. I looked at my savior in shock. It was an elephant. Hi, buddy. Thanks for saving my butt. Suddenly, the elephant gently wrapped its trunk around my waist and hoisted me on its back. I was in shock, but it was already walking and seemed harmless enough, so I just sat there hoping and praying it would take me somewhere safe. About an hour later, we finally reached a clearing, and I almost cried with joy. There were houses! Civilization at long last! The elephant stopped in front of one and sat down. I jumped off excitedly to find some help, but just then a man came out of the house towards us, holding the largest bunch of bananas.
Movie, there you are. I've been looking for you everywhere.
Hi, I'm not Movie. There must be some confusion. I'm Dana.
Oh, nice to meet you. Where did you find Movie?
That's when I realized Muvie was the elephant's name. I was about to narrate my story to him, but my stomach rumbled loudly and I realized I hadn't eaten for almost a day. I'm sorry, but I'm really hungry. Can I have those bananas? Without waiting for his reply, I snatched the bananas and went to town on them. When I was finally full, I plopped down on the floor and burst into tears.
Hey, what's the matter? You didn't like the bananas?
No, it's just that it's the first time I've experienced what hunger feels like. The man gently patted my head and I found myself narrating every detail of my story to him.
Your dad must be really worried about you.
I know. Do you know him? He's a big politician. I told him Dad's name, but he had never heard of him.
This is a remote village, Dana. We're hardly in touch with anyone beyond this forest.
Heck, these guys didn't even have mobile phones or even landlines. That made me want to cry all over again. But then I thought, Dad being Dad, he must have already sent search parties for me. And maybe they were already in this forest looking for me. I'm not losing hope just yet. I'm sure Dad will send someone to find me.
That's like a brave girl. I'm just so thankful Movie found you at the right time, or
I would have ended up in the poop of those stupid hyenas. Ugh. The man cracked up on hearing this, and I noticed how kind his eyes were. He told me his name was Kama and that he had rescued Muvie from the poachers after they finished his family when he was just a baby.
He refuses to leave my side ever since. I've tried to leave him in the forest multiple times, but he always comes back.
So he's like your pet now?
Not a pet. He's my son. Until you find your parents, you're my daughter too.
So friends, that's how a new chapter of my life began. I started living in that tiny village with Kama and Muvie. The first few days were insane. During the day, it was way too hot to go out, and at night, the pesky mosquitoes wouldn't let me sleep. Man, I miss air conditioning. Can't believe there are so many people who don't have it. I also missed my parents terribly, even though Kama was super kind to me. And Muvie? He was like an actual brother, always messing around with me. At this one time, Muvie suddenly hoisted me up his back and walked to a beautiful lake. It was breathtaking. Wow, Muvie, this is beautiful. Thank you for showing me this place. But as I was admiring the view, he filled water in his trunk and splashed it all over me. And I swear he trumpeted like he was laughing. You jerk! So this is your idea of fun? Slowly, I got used to the village life. I'd often go foraging in the forest with Muvie and Kama, and we'd bring back the tastiest fruits. Then in the evenings, Kama would narrate fascinating stories of the forest to me until I fell asleep under the starry sky. I still desperately hoped to reunite with my parents, but I also loved being close to nature. Days turned into weeks, and then one day, Muvie and I came back from the forest to find Kama looking very worried.
The town people are planning to clear a path of this jungle to build some hotel. The project will block the lake where wild animals go to drink water.
What? How can they do that? And isn't there a way to stop this nonsense?
My father always said we own some land close to that lake. Maybe if I find those papers, something can be done, but there is a little problem.
What?
I can't read.
The revelation left me stunned. Kama was one of the wisest people. I just assumed he could read and write too. Don't feel embarrassed, Kama. This just shows one doesn't need formal education to be wise. Besides, even if you can't read or write, I can. So I searched every nook and corner of his house to find those papers, but to no avail. Then suddenly my eyes fell on a rusty box under his bed. What do you have in there?
Oh, just some old pictures of my family.
Upon my insistence, he opened the box, and as we were going through the pictures, a rolled parchment paper fell near my feet. I opened it, and lo and behold, it was exactly what we were looking for. Turns out Kama's ancestors owned a major chunk of land on which the hotel was proposed to be built. This is all we need to stop that construction project. The next day, when the contractor team arrived with bulldozers, Kama and I and the other villagers blocked their way.
What you're doing is illegal. I'll call the cops and have you arrested.
What your boss is doing is illegal. This land belongs to Kama. I showed him the papers I'd found, and he looked shocked as he examined them closely. But then he just tossed them away like trash.
You guys are wasting your time. These papers are forged.
Says who? Your jerk boss?
Look, girl, if you don't budge, I'll run the bulldozers over you.
Oh, really? Just try! The villagers, Kama and I formed a human chain to stop the contractors, but they were adamant too. Soon the bulldozers started moving towards us, but we stood there unfazed. As the giant machines inched closer, suddenly we heard a loud bellowing. It was Muvie. He lunged towards the bulldozers, caught the drivers in his trunk one by one, and flung them to the ground. Those guys panicked and ran away like scaredy cats.
Thank you, Muvie. You're the best.
Yeah, but the danger isn't over yet. I have a feeling these guys will be back.
But we have the papers now. They can't do anything.
That was kinda true. When the land belonged to Kama, there was no way they could start a project on it. But I still had a sinking feeling that the worst was yet to come. A week went by after that incident and nothing happened. Maybe after what I'd been through, I was getting a little paranoid about everything. Then one day, Kama caught a bad cough and cold. He sent me and Muvie to the forest to fetch some herbs that grew by the lakeside. This looks exactly like the plant Kama described. What do you say, Muvie? I looked at Muvie and found him flapping his ears wildly, which meant something was stressing him. What's the matter, Muvie? Is there a wild animal around? But Muvie kept flapping his ears and trumpeting even more. Then he suddenly hoisted me on his back and started running back towards the village. When we got closer, my heart sank as I saw bright red flames touching the sky. Our house was on fire!
Muvie, Dana, someone set the house on fire! I'm ruined!
But who did it? Did you see anyone?
I don't know. I was sleeping in my room when I smelt the smoke. By the time I could do anything, the fire had spread.
Kama kept crying as our house burned to ashes along with several others. It was a total disaster. And with everything else, the papers that could have saved the forest were also gone forever. It took more than 5 hours to get the fire under control, but by that time, almost half the village was burnt down. There was chaos everywhere. Kama was distraught, but my blood was boiling. I know exactly who's behind this, and I am not gonna spare them. I asked Kama about the nearest police station. He said it took more than a day to reach there as the roads were too bad, but I was willing to do whatever it took. So the next day, we set off to find the police station with one of the villagers who had a vague idea of where it was. We had to walk miles for the next 24 hours, but when we finally reached there and asked the officer to lodge a complaint against the builder, he blatantly refused.
How can you be so sure he's behind the fire?
Well, he's the only person who could benefit from this. He knew we had the papers. But no matter how much I pleaded, that butthead refused to cooperate and kept telling me to go back.
Look, girl, the people you're messing with are very powerful. You better stay out of this.
And you better start praying I don't meet my real dad, because the day I do, you're gonna get fired.
Who is your real dad, sweetie?
When I told the officer my dad's name, he got shocked. And to my utter surprise, he knew him.
You are Mr. Moyo's missing daughter?
The officer immediately took out the missing poster and compared it to me. Then, with shaking hands, he took out his cell phone and began making calls.
We found the girl, sir.
Excitedly, I grabbed Kama's hand. Oh my God! I never knew I'd be able to meet my dad this way! Within a couple of hours, a helicopter landed right in front of the police station, and you can't imagine my happiness and relief when I saw Dad getting out of it.
Dana, my sweetheart, where were you?
I fell off the cliff into the forest. Where were you? How did you get saved?
I was lucky. I got thrown to the other side of the road, so I called an ambulance. We started looking for you right away.
We both cried tears of joy as we hugged each other. Then I told Dad everything about Kama, Muvie, the village, and the stupid builder, and he listened to me patiently. Dad, you have to do something. That land belongs to Kama and his people.
Don't worry, Dana. I'll get everything sorted. But before that, you must take me to the village so I can see things.
We went to the village in Dad's chopper, and after thanking Kama and bidding a tearful adieu to Muvie, we went back to Harare. Soon I settled into my old life, but there were days I really missed Kama and Muvie. I kept asking Dad about them, and he said he'd pulled some strings to get that project shelved. He'd also donated a huge amount to help rebuild the village. Then one day, a famous circus came to our town, and my friends and I decided to visit. Just before the show, I was on my way to get us some refreshments when I heard someone yelling.
You stupid animal! If you don't do as I say, I'm gonna beat you black and blue!
I peeked inside a tent, and I saw a guy hitting an elephant with a huge stick. Hey! You stop that! Right now! I rushed out to save the poor animal. He reminded me of Muvie, and when he saw me, he started crying and trumpeting loudly. That's when I realized something insane. It was Muvie! Oh my God, Muvie! How did you get here? And And where's Kama? Obviously, Movie couldn't tell me anything, but his tears told me nothing was okay. I asked the circus owner where he'd found Movie, and what he told me left me shook.
His owner was put in a mental asylum recently after he tried to set his own house on fire. With no one to take care of the elephant, the authorities auctioned him off.
That was a total lie! Kama was not mentally ill! And even if he was, why didn't Dad tell me about it? Something felt very wrong. I immediately went back home straight to Dad's study, but he wasn't there. Just then, my eyes fell on some papers on his desk. They were for some destruction project. My heart suddenly started beating very loudly. With shaking hands, I took those papers and started reading, and my heart sank. Dad was the builder constructing that hotel in the forest. And despite what he'd told me, the project was very much in progress. Suddenly, the door opened and Dad walked in.
Dana, did you want something?
What is this, Dad?
Oh, it's just some random project I'm involved with.
A random project? Or the project you told me was shelved? Tell me the truth, Dad. What did you do to Kama?
I didn't do anything. The authorities found him mentally unstable, so they sent him where he should be.
I can't believe this! All my life, I idolized you, Dad. I thought you were the kindest soul on the planet, when you're actually a monster.
That is no way to talk to your dad. Go to your room right now, and you're grounded for a month.
I wanted to scream my lungs out, but I knew this would solve nothing. He was my dad after all, one of the most powerful men in the city. So I quietly went to my room, took out my laptop, and went live on Facebook and Instagram. I told the world about that tiny village in the middle of nowhere. I told them about Kama, a man with such pure heart that he adopted an orphaned elephant, and a total stranger like me. And then I told him about the project that would devastate their homeland, and of several other animals that called the forest their home. I told everyone about the greed of the builder and how he'd gotten rid of Kama, who was the real owner of the land. Finally, I revealed his name. Yes, friends, I know you're shocked to hear this, but sadly, that's the truth. It takes a lot of courage to go against your own dad, but I've always done what I felt is the right thing to do. And right now, nothing feels more right than fighting for Kama and Movie. If you want good to win over evil, please support me. That video went viral in no time. It reached the highest of political circles and created a lot of buzz. Surprisingly, many people came out accusing Dad of using unfair means to grab their lands. Dad got arrested soon after, and while Mom was super mad at me for what I did and even disowned me publicly, I finally slept at peace in the night. After Dad's arrest, I, along with the support of my friends and followers, got Kama released from the mental asylum and reunited with Movie. Then, for the next 7 years, I lived in the city and studied law. Today, I'm a human rights lawyer and a budding politician who isn't afraid to take risks and stand up for what is right. Oh, and did I tell you I've moved back to the village? The life here isn't as comfortable, but we're trying our best to modernize it as best as we can without disturbing the beautiful wildlife, of course.